Welcome to RP Revenge.
The sound of breaking glass wasn't loud. It was sharp, precise, like a blade cutting through silence. A wine glass hit the marble floor, and crimson streaks spread like veins across the white. Mira froze. Her fingers were still trembling around the phone she hadn't realized she dropped. "Dad, she did it again," a voice echoed from the hallway. Lily's voice. Soft, calculated, trembling just enough to sound wounded. "She screamed at me. Said I ruined her life." Mira's heart hammered in her chest. That wasn't what she'd said. Not even close. "She's lying, Daniel." Mira's voice cracked as she turned toward her husband. "I didn't." "Enough." Daniel's roar silenced everything. His face, usually calm and deliberate, looked carved from stone. "I'm done, Mira. You've crossed a line." The room seemed to tilt. "What line?" She's manipulating you. You know how she gets when." "I said enough." He didn't look at her. He looked at Lily, the way a man looks at someone fragile, someone who needs protecting. That look had once belonged to Mira. Mira's breath stuttered. The silence that followed was suffocating. She wanted to reach him, shake him, make him see the truth. But all she could do was stare as Lily's eyes glistened with practiced tears. She hates me, Dad," Lily whispered, her lower lip trembling. "Ever since you asked me to move in, she's been trying to get rid of me. All of it." But they slithered so easily from Lily's tongue, coated in just enough truth to sound believable. Daniel's next words came like a slap. "Pack your things, Mira." Her body went cold. "You can't be serious. I don't want this toxicity in my house anymore." "Our house," she almost said. But what good would it do? He'd already chosen sides. The clock on the wall ticked, the seconds stretching like punishment. Mira stood there, watching the man she built her life with stare at her as though she were the intruder. She left that night. No suitcase, just a coat thrown over her shoulders and her car keys. Rain began as she reached the driveway, soaking her hair, clinging to her skin. It didn't matter. Inside the house, Lily was crying into Daniel's chest, and he was holding her, comforting her. It was almost poetic, how easily truth drowns when lies are dressed in tears. In the weeks that followed, Mira's world shrank to silence. Her phone remained stubbornly quiet. Daniel didn't call. Mutual friends stayed away, cautious not to take sides. Lily's narrative spread like wildfire, how Mira had been unstable, jealous, even emotionally abusive. At first, Mira tried to defend herself. She sent messages, tried to explain. But every time she spoke, she sounded desperate, and desperation was its own kind of guilt. So she stopped talking and started watching. From a distance, she watched as Daniel and Lily flaunted their newfound peace. Photos appeared online. Family dinners, charity events, captions filled with hollow joy. "So grateful for my family." Every post was a knife, every smile a twist. But beneath the surface, Mira noticed something else. Little cracks, small details that didn't fit. Lily was always there, always. Her presence shadowed Daniel's every move, every decision. She spoke for him at events, filtered his calls, protected him from old friends who dared to mention Mira. People began whispering. Mira didn't have to do a thing. She just listened, waited, collected pieces. The woman they called jealous now watched with quiet, deliberate patience as the same lies Lily once told about her began to circle back. The same people who believed those lies started to question them. And one night when Daniel finally called, his voice hollow, uncertain, Mira smiled for the first time in months. He said, "I think I made a mistake." She didn't answer right away. She let the silence stretch, soft and dangerous. Then she said, "You didn't make a mistake, Daniel. You made a choice." Outside thunder rolled. And somewhere, Lily's perfect little world began to unravel. Mira didn't rush her revenge. It came like winter, quiet, inevitable and merciless. In the weeks after Daniel's call, she let him linger in uncertainty. He texted a few times, called once or twice, but she gave him nothing beyond politeness. Her restraint unsettled him more than anger ever could. And she knew it. Daniel had always been a man who needed control of his business, his image, his household. But Myra's silence robbed him of that. She became a ghost who refused to haunt him the way he expected. Meanwhile, Lily was crumbling. Mira saw it from afar, through the whispers of mutual acquaintances and the subtle signs online. The once flawless posts became erratic, captions too cheerful, photos staged and strained. There was a video once. Lily at a dinner party, drunk, laughing too loudly. Daniel's face in the background told a different story. Exhaustion, regret, something close to disgust. Mira watched it all with the quiet precision of someone who had nothing left to lose. And then she made her move. She started small. A message here, a comment there. Nothing cruel, nothing that could be traced back as vengeance. Just questions. Simple, pointed, devastating questions. Wasn't this the same charity Lily criticized last year? I thought Daniel said he hated publicity. Interesting how stories change, don't they? People noticed. Conversations shifted. Mira had been a pillar in their social circle once. Gracious, composed, respected. So when she resurfaced with her calm, grounded presence, the contrast against Daniel and Lily's growing chaos was striking. At a charity gala, the first one Mira dared to attend since her exile, whispers rippled the moment she entered. Her black dress was simple, elegant. No drama, no bitterness, just quiet grace. Daniel saw her from across the room. His eyes widened slightly, then softened. Lily, standing beside him, stiffened. Mira smiled. Not for him, for the audience watching. "Daniel," she greeted smoothly when he approached. His guilt practically visible beneath his tailored suit. "Mira, I didn't expect to see you here." "You should have," she said softly. "This was always our event." Lily shifted beside him, feigning composure. "It's nice to see you've moved on." "Oh, I have." Myra's eyes met hers. It's incredible what clarity does for a person. There was no venom in her tone, no accusation. Just calm truth. And that was what made it unbearable. That night, the dominoes began to fall. People who once shunned Mira began approaching her again. Old friends, colleagues, even Daniel's business partners. Each conversation carefully guided by her measured grace. She never mentioned what happened, but the absence of bitterness made them curious. Curiosity bred doubt. Doubt spread faster than rumor. Soon, whispers about Lily's behavior, her manipulation, her control over Daniel, became the talk of every dinner table. And Daniel, cornered by the consequences of his blindness, began unraveling publicly. At a company event, he snapped at an associate. At home, neighbors heard shouting. One night, someone recorded Lily screaming at him in the driveway, calling him useless, stupid, pathetic. The video went viral among their circle. Mira didn't post it. She didn't need to. Truth, when left alone, has a way of finding air. When Daniel showed up at her doorstep weeks later, Mira wasn't surprised. He looked smaller somehow, eyes sunken, hair graying at the temples, the confident man she once loved replaced by a hollow shell of regret. "Mira," he began, voice cracking. "I was wrong. About everything. Lily, she lied. She twisted things. I see it now." Mira studied him for a long moment. She saw the pain, the sincerity. But she also saw the cowardice that had always lived beneath his surface, the man too weak to question the story that was easiest to believe. "I don't hate you, Daniel," she said quietly. "I just stopped needing you." He blinked, as though her words were a foreign language. "Please, can we talk? Just once. Maybe we can start over." Mira smiled faintly. "You already started over, remember? You chose your truth. Now you can live with it." When she closed the door, it wasn't with anger. It was with peace. Behind it, Daniel stood motionless for several seconds before leaving. And across town, Lily's perfect facade continued to crumble. Within months, her lies caught up with her. alienating the same people she'd manipulated, leaving her isolated and bitter. The same way Mira once was. But here was the difference. Mira didn't seek to destroy them. She simply held up a mirror. And the reflection did the rest. In the quiet of her new apartment, sunlight spilling across the floor, she felt something she hadn't in years: freedom. Not the kind that comes from revenge, but from release. Because sometimes the sweetest justice isn't fire or fury. It's letting the guilty burn themselves. And they did.